Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Sports Medicine, offering services for sports injury and recovery, with physicians and athletic trainers who provide treatment for fractures, dislocations, sprains, strains, and other sports-related issues. More information on services at stalphonsus.org. So you can't see this, but hopefully you can hear it. Behind every Boise State Public Radio podcast is a team working hard to bring you stories that matter. So if you value podcasts like this one, please support them. Hit donate at boisestatepublicradio.org. Thanks.
It's the Connector, Idaho Daily News from Boise State Public Radio. Monday, May the 18th, I'm Troy Oppie. Here are today's headlines. 4 pilots are safe after 2 military planes collided during an air show at Mountain Home Air Force Base Sunday. Repeat political candidates have a value and a cost. And high gas prices not taking a bite out of holiday travel plans. A crash Sunday at the Gunfighter Skies air show in Mountain Home triggered a lockdown of the Mountain Home Air Force Base and the cancellation of the remainder of the show. Video of the crash quickly made its way far and wide online yesterday. R. Jackson Holmes reports.
A little over an hour into the show, 2 military planes collided midair. Witnesses say they immediately saw 4 parachutes fall from the planes and a dark plume of smoke rise from the crash. Commander Amelia Umea, a spokesperson for Naval Air Force's U.S. Pacific Fleet, said in a statement the 4 crew members aboard the naval planes were from Whidbey Island, Washington. They all safely evacuated the aircraft and were immediately treated by medical professionals. An officer on the scene said the fire from the crash was extinguished within a few hours. The rest of the air show was immediately canceled, and anyone on their way to the base was advised to return home. The Mountain Home Air Force Base was locked down following the accident, and it took 4.5 hours until the thousands of attendees were allowed to return to their cars and given an exit route. Although the air demonstrations were immediately canceled, displays and exhibitions on the ground continued. The Gunfighters show has been a popular, free public event since 2003, but this year was the first show since 2018. Officials with the base say Highway 167 will be closed from Simcoe Road and Airbase Road for the next few days as they continue to investigate the incident. Jackson Holmes, Boise State Public Radio News.
Late yesterday on the Mountain Home Air Force Base Gunfighters Facebook page, Commander of the 366th Fighter Wing, Colonel David Gunter, praised the fast and professional response to the crash and thanked airshow attendees for their patience, trust, and support through the emergency response. Boise police say the suspect in an early Sunday shooting near campus turned herself in shortly after the incident. Police responding near Longmont Avenue and Belmont Street, that's just east of Broadway, not far from the Boise River, say they found an adult male victim with life-threatening injuries from 2 gunshots. The victim was hospitalized. There's no word on his condition. Boise State issued a public safety alert just after 2 a.m. Sunday with a suspect description. Boise police say 21-year-old Sophie Rains turned herself in and is now being held on an aggravated battery charge. The investigation is ongoing. Police are asking any witnesses to speak with detectives. Oregon's Department of Corrections says an inmate at the Snake River Correctional Facility in Ontario has died. 67-year-old Clinton Kevin Holland died May 14th, according to a news release. Further details were not provided. Holland of Redmond in Central Oregon was serving a life sentence after pleading guilty to murder. He's the second inmate at the state prison in Ontario to die in custody this month. Oregon prison officials say both are under investigation. Tomorrow is Election Day. If you feel like many candidates are familiar, that's because they probably are. Nearly every lawmaker is running for re-election, and there are multiple rematches in key districts across the state. Notable examples include the District 1 Senate race between Republican incumbent Jim Woodward and former Senator Scott Herndon. They've faced off in 4 primaries now. In East Idaho, Republican Julianne Young will try to retake the seat she lost 2 years ago in the GOP primary to Ben Furman by just 4 votes. Melissa Durant is back to challenge Chris Bruce in one of CUNA's District 23 GOP races. In Nampa, Chris Trakel is running to try and retake the Senate seat he held until Camille Blaylock beat him 2 years ago. There are former lawmakers wanting to win their way back to the State House after a previous defeat, too. Notably, that includes Republicans Megan Blanksma, Kerry Hanks, and Chad Christensen. Boise State University Associate Professor of Political Science Jacqueline Kettler says experienced candidates have built-in name recognition, which is a huge value. But
It could make it hard for newer candidates to really launch a campaign, to attract the donations, to get that name recognition in the same ways, which is perhaps why we're almost at times seeing kind of groupings of candidates come together that are getting support in one way or the other.
Rematches especially, she says, can affect the tone of a race because campaigns can quickly get personal between two candidates familiar with where each other's soft spots might be. Within the Republican Party, Kettler says the rematches and return candidates also illustrate the ideological divide within the party. Polls will open tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Find your polling location, sample ballot, and more at idahovotes.gov. The University of Idaho announced former Chief Deputy Attorney General Brian Kane will be the next dean of the U of I School of Law. Kane has been serving as adjunct faculty at the College of Law since 2017, according to the school. He left the AG's office in 2023 after Raul Labrador defeated previous Attorney General Lawrence Wasden. Kane earned an undergrad degree at U of I, but completed law school at Northwestern and at Portland's Lewis and Clark College. He'll be the third new dean at U of I Law since 2021, taking over for Aviva Abramovsky, who left U of I after 2 years to become president and CEO of the National Judicial College. Travel Club AAA reports gas prices in Idaho are averaging $4.63 a gallon on average as of this morning. That's a couple of pennies higher than it was on Friday. Despite these high gas prices, Idahoans should still expect high numbers of travelers on the road and in the sky this Memorial Day weekend. Here's Julie Luqueta with more.
The last time gas prices were this high was in 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine. AAA's Matthew Condi says people are experiencing economic tightness, but they aren't really changing their travel plans.
People still have this mentality of wanting to get even. Revenge travel is what it's been called, where people weren't allowed to travel during the pandemic, and then now people are seeing it more as this essential thing.
He says people also plan their trips before the U.S. attacked Iran in February, which continues to drive gas prices up.
We might not see travel demand change until the 4th of July weekend, just because for this major holiday, people had already probably booked hotel rooms, made their plane reservations. However, as we get a little further down the road, if things are still as high as they are today, then there may be some changes.
AAA predicts 45 million Americans, including 268,000 Idahoans, will be traveling at least 50 miles this Memorial weekend. Julie Luqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
This time a year ago, a gallon of gas cost $3.32 on average in Idaho, nearly 40% less than this week, according to AAA. Soccer fans in the Treasure Valley saw the biggest win in AC Boise history so far on Saturday. It could stay that way for a while. Boise erased a 2-goal second-half deficit to beat Monterey Bay FC Saturday 4-3 in a USL Cup match. Monterey Bay plays in the USL Championship League, a tier higher than the USL League One. The USL Cup is a season-long competition between sides from both leagues. Boise got goals Saturday from Jake Kroll, Dennis Kostashin, Dominic Grasso, and the game winner in the 86th minute from Thomas Among. Boise native Blake Bodley picked up 2 assists in the game. AC Boise is back on a home pitch again this Saturday against Fort Wayne FC. And 3 Boise State track and field athletes won Mountain West Conference championships this weekend. Kai Robinson won both the women's 800 and 1500-meter championships. Raekwon Witherspoon is the men's long jump champion, and Alex Thompson took the men's 1500-meter crown. The 4 individual conference titles were the most for Boise State since 2019. All 3 champions are expected to be part of the NCAA National Championship field, which will be announced later this week. As a team, Boise State finished 3rd in the women's standings, 6th in the men's. The meet was the final athletic event with the Mountain West Conference. Boise State joins the rebuilt Pac-12, officially starting July 1st. That's your connector for this Monday, May 18th. If you're in the Boise area, you want to know that our Meet and Greet series, another round, is coming back next week. We'll be at Boise Brewing in downtown Boise, May 28th, starting at 6 p.m. with Mountain West News Bureau reporter Murphy Woodhouse. Bring your wildfire-related questions for Murphy You can come and have a beverage for free with a small donation, courtesy of our friends at Boise Brewing. There's more information at our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. We'll be back with another episode of The Connector for you tomorrow. I'm Troy Hoppe. Make it a great day.
You know, every day on Up First, NPR's Golden Globe-nominated morning news podcast, we bring you 3 essential stories. At the heart of each story are questions. What really happened? What really mattered? What happens next? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious and to follow the facts. Follow Up First wherever you get your podcasts and start your day knowing what matters and why.